Frontier Courthouses. You reckon this is a good subject? Why don't you be the judge?
I believe you testified that you backed away from Old Man Warden.
Yes, sir.
Which direction were you going?
Backward. I always go backward when I'm backing away.
If you are an adult, then more than likely you've spent time in a courthouse. Some on the viewing side and some in front of a judge and jury. As for myself, I've served on 3 juries.
Will be final, without appeal.
As settlements were popping up during westward expansion, the need for law and order was ever present. Regardless of that fact, the courthouse wasn't usually among the first buildings to be erected.
Is that a fact? That's a fact.
Often we see saloons and churches doubling as courtrooms. Funny that the drinking establishment would be built before a civic building. I mean, let's get our priorities in line here.
Court of Vinegaroon is in session. There'll be no drinking.
As counties were established, some city would eventually have to have a courthouse erected. It would likely be the center of government, otherwise known as the county seat. These were usually standalone buildings that stood out in a metropolitan area. In them, you would find one courtroom with surrounding offices for lawyers, judges, clerks, and sometimes the sheriff. Records would be held in at least one room, and let's not forget a jail or a holding cell. In Holbrook, Arizona, the basement was the jail, but others it seemed like an afterthought. We see this in the case of Billy the Kid, where the Lincoln County Courthouse had a makeshift jail situation where he was essentially chained to the floor. Some, like the Tombstone Courthouse, would have a convenient gallows right alongside.
We ought to hang him! That's right, hang him! Give him a rope necktie and let him swing!
The courtroom is designed after those in Great Britain, with the judge seated higher than those who came before him. Yes, the idea of him passing judgment down to you would be very evident. An example of this architecture and design is seen in the King William County Courthouse in Virginia, built in 1725. State and county courtrooms were usually regal-looking with nicely crafted wood accents, art on the walls, and pertinent flags, always the American flag and also a state flag. These municipal buildings would also be used for elections, town meetings, and perhaps furthering adult education. Copies of legal binding documents were usually kept here, and even today are a great resource for tracking down all those records. Here in Tucson, we've had 3 since its inception. Here's a photo of Arizona Ghostwriter's resident specter propped up against said courthouse after being brought to justice in 1878. Many of these courthouses are still around today. Here in Arizona, the towns of Tombstone and Holbrook have converted theirs into museums, where the one in Florence is still being used. I'd be willing to bet there's a historic courthouse not far from many of you. On my bucket list is Judge Isaac Parker's courthouse in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome.
They do make great museums and worthy of checking out if you get a chance. Just make sure you're visiting and not appearing.
Claimed he was going to urinate over the courthouse.
Well, folks, that's it for another episode. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on down the trail. This? It's a cow nose. There's the cow it belongs to. Look at that face. You are so precious. Look at you. Hi, buddy.